Hey everyone, I'm doing my Monday motivation video tonight instead of this morning. This morning I was in a different time zone and getting all my stuff packed and ready to get to the airport trying to get home. So I wasn't able, or I chose not to do one this morning. And as I was thinking about what to talk about literally like 1 minute ago, I thought it might be appropriate to share one of the big takeaways that I brought home with me from the event I was at. So I won't go way into that, but I went to this really intense 4-day event that combined learning about science and medical stuff related to the keto diet, and then also this huge like 3-day intense personal development session. So regardless of what you do, like basically opening yourself up and taking a good look and figuring out how to come out a better person. And I had all kinds of takeaways. And so I'm going to boil it down to the one big one. There's a lot of big ones, but the one that I mentioned in the title about potential, and I'll give you an example of why. So, and I didn't even really know this was one of my takeaways, but last night, like really late, like 1 a.m, I had the opportunity that I wouldn't normally have had to meet with some of the very, very top people at Prove It and sit in on one of their like huddle and debrief sessions. And I was kind of like a fly on the wall. And then at the very end, I was asked the question, they kind of pulled me into their conversation and they were like, what was your biggest takeaway from the entire week? And I was put on the spot because I didn't have time to think about it or have anything prepped. And I just kind of went for my heart, and I'm going to share what I said with you guys. So one of our speakers, his name was David Goggins. If you've never heard of him, I encourage you to Google him. This dude is unfreaking believable. And I'm not going to go into his story because he literally wrote a 400 and something page book that's coming out in December that tells his story. So like I couldn't do it justice in 3 sentences. But he's an unbelievable human being. But as a part of all the things that he talked about, one of the examples that just like smacked me in the face and made me like sit up straighter and rethink everything that's been going on in my life. He gave this example of, so visualize like you die and you go to heaven, or you go wherever it is that your belief system takes you. And there's a chart and your name's on the chart. So Brooke Ferguson's up there. And then God goes up there and rips down the chart and says, this is who you were supposed to be. And it's like a listing, of all the things that you should have been, all of the things within a person that he gave you the tools and the resources and the potential to be that you kind of just, were lazy and fell short on. It was just like the whole idea of not being who you were meant to become because you chose not to, because you chose the easy way. And it just, I don't know, like that whole thing just hit me in the face with that metaphor of you're not who you're supposed to be. Like, what if that happened? That happens to so many people. It's like they get to the end and they look back and they're like, what the hell did I even do with my life? So I combined that with another thing that our CEO, Brian Underwood, says all the time. And it's not his quote, other people have quoted it, but how you do one thing is how you do everything. And that one kind of hit me too, because, a lot of people really struggle with negative self-talk, and they like fill their head full of lies about negative things about them. I'm unworthy. I'm not beautiful. I'm hard to love. I'm a loser, I suck, I'm not successful, like a really bad, like the things that we tell ourselves in our head. And I still do some of that stuff too. I've been working really hard on it. But I think I've been filling my head with almost this like false positive narrative. It's almost like the flip of that in some ways, because I really have been doing a ton of self-work lately. But when he gave that metaphor, I realized that I'm not living up to my full potential. And you guys probably aren't either. Like, are you really playing full out? Are you giving every part of your life all the effort that you possibly could? I'm not at all. Like in my head, I tell myself I'm really kind of excelling in a lot of areas of my life. Like when I talk to myself, I say, I'm a great mom. And I do still believe that. I could definitely be better. The admission that I usually make is that I could be a better wife. And a lot of times my focus goes to other places, and that one kind of falls on the back burner a little bit. And that's my one big admission. But there's just so much more that I could be doing. I tell myself I'm doing great at my job, at my career, but truth be told, if you really pay attention, I'm probably giving like 50% effort, and that's crap. Like, what even is that? I have a massive opportunity with an amazing company, and I'm not like hustling every single minute that I'm supposed to. And then with my side business, with all of the ketones and keto stuff that I'm so passionate about, and I really, really am, and that probably sometimes consumes more time than it should in other areas. Within the time that I allot for that, I'm still not doing everything that I could be doing with that time. So it's almost like, if you really were honest with yourself, what percent effort are you giving to the different parts of your life? Like, mine's crappy. It's like, somewhere in the 50 to 70% range. Why am I not doing more? So another thing I wrote down that David Goggins guy said was, make sure your self-talk isn't a lie. Make sure it's real talk. So we, a lot of times do have this negative stream of consciousness going in the back of our mind, and we don't even know it. It's probably what a lot of people deal with. And I do have that too, but I was feeding myself, almost like building myself up probably a little too much in areas that I couldn't. So those are some of my big takeaways that all kind of go together. I've got so many. I could go on for like a couple hours, and you guys that are watching would all drop off and fall asleep while I was talking. But, and I'll sprinkle them in here and there because I had so many like aha moments. But that was a big one. It's just like, when you meet your maker, are you who you were meant to be? Like, did you live up to the potential that you had been given? Like, you're given opportunities, or you have the mental capacity or the resources or the will to go and find those opportunities. But did you play full out? Did you go and do everything that you could have done? Did you make a difference and leave a mark? One of the other things was, if you had written a story about your life, like up to now, and you're laying in the hospital on your deathbed, and the book of your life is like sitting there, and a complete stranger, a nurse or a doctor or whoever walks in, and you gave them that book, and you passed away. And if they read that book, would it somehow change their life? Think about that. I don't know. I mean, part of me thinks that sometimes, maybe certain things would change people's lives, but other things, it's like, what are you even doing? I don't know. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. It's kind of like a Motivation Monday to me, because it's, people say all the time, well, you're not living up to your potential, but that just sounds so cliche, and everybody glazes over that because it's a phrase that we hear all the time. But when put in that context, it just, I don't know, it was a light bulb that turned on for me, and it actually meant something. It literally has never meant much of anything to me until like right now, the whole idea of potential. Like, conceptually, I get it, but like, I don't know, I had nowhere to apply it, or I didn't try. So I don't know. I hope that helped you guys, and I hope you could actually like see the picture I was trying to paint with the chart and all of that stuff. I'll share at another time some of my big takeaways, but that was one of them. I'm gonna go try to unpack and get everything pulled together. I hope you guys had a great Monday and have a good week. I'm back to reality and need to go catch up on my sleep because I haven't slept in days. See you guys later.